Hello all you fishies out there. I'm Danny, Jesus is behind that camera, and this is Bullsahrkbait Arts. Today guys, we have something fun for you. I guess you can say it's kind of like a podcast, may be a podcast, may not be a podcast. Not really sure. Today though, we are on my phone screen. We are recording a video, we are outside, we are enjoying the weather, and today we're discussing cosplay, cosplans. This is going to be a little series that's just cosplay for beginners. So we're going to teach all you newbies, all you new little guppies out there, how to get started on cosplaying, how to budget, how to set up your cosplans, how to know where you need to go or where to go, what kind of costumes you want to make, all that kind of good stuff, basically. That is the goal. We want to just teach you guys a little bit about everything so anybody can pick up and start cosplaying. So, I've kind of got a few talking points. Give me 1 second. Okay, here we are. Okay, so, basically, cosplay for beginners, or because this is Bullsahrkbait Arts, cosplay for guppies. So, this is cosplay for guppies. So, you're new to cosplay. So, what is cosplay? Basically, everybody who doesn't cosplay has their own idea of what cosplay is. But basically, cosplay is just kind of, dressing up. Dressing up as a character that is important to you or means something to you, that you feel comfortable cosplaying as, or that you'll enjoy cosplaying as, or dressing up as costume. Basically, cosplay is kind of like costumery. Similar thing. It's probably just about the same thing anyway. So basically, cosplay is just costumery. You're dressing up. It can be a lot of different things for a lot of different people, and we will definitely be soon doing little podcast interviews with other cosplayers to, get their insights about what cosplay means to them and, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, what does cosplay mean to you? What do you define cosplay as? That's a good question. So if you want to leave that answer in the comments below, whatever you feel personally like cosplay is. And it is a beautiful day, so we're enjoying the outdoors, and we're just going to start teaching you guys a little bit about cosplay and cosplans. So, how do you make cosplans? I'm sure you're wondering, what is a cosplan? I guess a cosplan is just a term that us cosplayers, which cosplayers is just people who cosplay as a whole, like multiple people. Basically, cosplans is your cosplay plans. It is a play on words. It's as simple as that. Just something simple, something basic. Your plans for cosplay, because you can cosplay and cosplay at home if you want. That's a good way to start too. But maybe you've been looking at other cosplayers, you've seen other people, you've seen other people's Instagrams, you might have seen people walking around in cosplay or costume. Sometimes you might see them at the park, you might see somebody LARPing, which is the live action roleplay, or just basically, people enjoying their imagination and acting out and acting like characters. It's just a fun experience. So yes, how do you make cosplans? So we want to start, getting to know what cosplay is, and you want to get started. You want to know, how do you get into this? Basically, yes, cosplans. Whenever you're starting a hobby, which cosplaying can be a professional, it can be a business. You can make it professional. You can be professional cosplayer somewhere down the line if that's what you choose, but takes a lot of time, a lot of work. You have to stick with it, and you have to be willing to, finance yourself, because it's not easy to have people you know, financially back you for something like that. Most people just consider it a hobby and something fun to do. So, yeah. How do you make plans? So, yes, it's basically plans. Planning. The key to a good cosplay and good cosplayer, it could be opinionated, but I say planning. Planning is the key to having a good cosplay experience. Planning is where you want to start. So that is our key, beginning talking point, is how you make plans. So you don't know where to start. You're not sure. So we're going to teach you how to get started, basically. You want to know, where do I get started? What do? I want to start cosplaying. I want to make a costume, but I don't know, I'm not necessarily comfortable. I'm just trying to learn this. Basically, at this point, you're starting off in the beginning phases of your plans is research. Research is your beginning starting point for plans. Research, research, research. Do research on just about anything that is included with your plans. So, for one, the beginning starting point, you can start on your cosplay, but I would recommend, scoping out the territory and figuring out what you can afford and stuff like that. So, on here, as you can see, I say, what can you afford to attend or go to? It may not be your first goal, but it is a good thing to think about when you are in that research phase. Right now, we're just researching and we're learning how to make plans. So, you're in the researching phase, you're going online, you want to find resources, you're not really sure where you would even go if you were going to cosplay. So you may have a costume already ready. You may have a costume you want to plan for. You're not even sure where to go or where to start to get comfortable even cosplaying. So, of course, something like this is something where you get out of your comfort zone a little bit. Great activity to do with friends. It's nice to, get out of your comfort zone and be with friends and just, let go of all the hoopla and ignore what anybody says or thinks and just do something that makes you happy. Because that's what cosplay is all about, is doing something that makes you happy personally. So, okay, you're doing your research. You want to know what you could afford to attend to go to. So before you even start budgeting for a con, you have to do your research and figure out, is this something I could even afford to put into my budget? So, yes, where can you go? As you can see, my first one is, going to the mall. Otherwise, yes, you can cosplay at home. That is probably the cheapest and easiest starting point is just cosplaying from home. So I can add that one in. I didn't even think about that at first, of course. So, home. And then, so yes, you can cosplay at home. You can cosplay at home. And it's easy, it's simple, it's very cheap. You don't have to worry about anything. If you wanted to start up your own, cosplay channel, or you wanted to do a TikTok or something, I don't know, what do they do? I don't know if they do Vines anymore or something. Some kind of video, you're just barely getting out of your comfort zone. You might just do your own personal videos, or just cosplay for yourself, just for fun, in the mirror, or just, cosplay at home, so you can just be in your own little world, which is a nice place to start. So yeah, home, great start, great place to go. Doesn't cost you anything, you just have to worry about the costume. Alright, and then we're upgrading, so you can go to the mall and cosplay. So, we're not talking about, our cosplay yet, or our budgets, we're talking about locations, where would you even go, because this is obviously our research phase. So yes, you could go to a mall with friends, or by yourself, but, cosplaying is a lot more fun with friends, a group of friends, everybody going together. Going to the mall and cosplay is usually pretty affordable because you can shop or you can window shop, and you can go and cosplay and people don't even really care. I have gone to the mall several times in cosplay, met other cosplayers at the mall in cosplay. We've even taken a few pictures with some people. So the mall can be a great spot. It's a nice place to hang out, chill. You can eat, and pretty much if you feel like shopping or not, or you can just, hang around, get comfortable. You just get the feeling of being in public when you're in cosplay. It's a good way to start. It's just complete strangers and nobody really cares. I know people are always worried about, judging, and I am not a fan of the judgers, but honestly, fishies and the guppies, in the long run, nobody is concerned about what you are doing. As long as you are not hurting anybody else. I'm sorry about that. My phone is just letting me know I don't have a whole lot of time. So, but I have plenty of time. So, yes, strangers, they are not concerned about you. They might look at you for a second. They might think you look awesome. They might be concerned or question or, ponder what's going on. But all in all, nobody cares. They're all going on with their lives, doing their thing. Everybody is so worried about themselves, they don't worry about you. So it's a great place to start. You can obviously go to a mall that is local to you, so it is a familiar stomping ground for you, and you don't have to worry about anybody else. So, a mall is good, especially whether you have a car or you don't have a car. If you have to get a ride, then your local mall is usually, parents are usually willing to, pick up, drop off the friends, you guys, and let you, hang out around the mall for a couple of hours and then they come pick you back up. Or if you have your own transportation, you just ask your friends politely, can you please just pitch in, $5 for the ride? And if everybody pitches in a little bit, you have enough money for gas. Oh, it's just a courteous, polite thing to do when cosplaying. So it is a good thing to do. Again, malls are good. It's a good location. It's a safe location, especially if you're with friends. There's mall security usually, so it's a good, safe place to start. All right, then, let's say we're upgrading. Let's say you have a costume party or a Halloween party to go to. If you're underage, a little costume party, or Halloween party with your friends is going to be a safe, good space to cosplay. It's a great start. It's all your friends. You know everybody. You all want to cosplay together or dress up together. It is a great place to start. Again, minimal funding. You don't need a lot of money. Whoever's hosting the party, it's great to, help pitch in for party supplies and help clean up and help set up, and, it's a good community and you guys can all do everything in cosplay. So, even if you don't like setting up, cleaning up, all that kind of preparation, all the cleanup, you can think about it in another way and turn it into a totally different experience where you are in cosplay. You are that character, and you are setting up or you are cleaning up a party. So it can become a totally different experience that you can actually enjoy. And you can interact with your other cosplayers and your friends and everything like that at the party. And, just enjoy your time. And, think about, whoever you're cosplaying as. How would they feel about doing dishes or cleaning up garbage or setting up a table or blowing up balloons? Think about what that character would do, or how would they act when they're doing this. It's a totally different experience. And coming from somebody who loves cosplaying a lot and is in their head most of the time, it's things that I ponder a lot. It's a good experience. It's a way to get in touch with your imagination and, enjoy something that means a lot to you and makes you feel good about yourself. That's all it is, and it is a good thing to have. And cosplaying is a great hobby because it is a very safe, fun, easy hobby that, it's a pretty decent community. Of course, there are always going to be good and bad people. No matter what, there's always going to be people who are miserable or have ill will, and you just have to, avoid those people and be willing to stand up for yourself, which, of course, is always a difficult thing, but cosplay is not consent, obviously, so we can go on to the point of, okay, so we've talked about costume parties. Okay, costume parties with friends. You're going to a friend's house. It could be for a birthday or maybe like a Halloween party with your friends. So that's if you are on a budget. It's not too much money, but it's a little bit. Might be like $1 sign, just depending on how big your party wants to be. And then how much you want to expend on your cosplay in the future. So another thing, Halloween parties. We might be talking about probably like 18 plus or 21 plus, because a lot of times 18-year-olds can get into like nightclubs and some Halloween parties that don't serve alcohol. Or I've even gone to I believe it was like a club. It was like a dance club, and they hosted a con rave in this club, and they let in 18-year-olds, but they put like X's on you so you couldn't drink. So those places are also not very expensive. If you have a ride, and honestly, you do want to have a ride. If you don't have a car, you can't drive, you don't have transportation, you need to find transportation, obviously. If you're underage, or, you wouldn't be underage. If you were 18 or under 21, from 18 to 21, you obviously want to be very careful in these situations. Having a ride or driving yourself, you just have to be careful, and, just always just be vigilant and be careful. And when you're driving back from whatever event you're going to, just make sure you're very careful and vigilant, because, some people might be intoxicated. But not everybody, wants to go to a party to, dress up. But Halloween parties, they usually have big events. So if you're 21, have a designated driver, or just like get an Uber, or have a designated driver. If you're not the designated driver, just don't drink and drive, please. It's not worth it. Cosplaying is a great experience, and we don't want to lose you guys. So all you fishies, please just be careful. Don't drink and drive. Don't accept anything from strangers, because you may be going there to dress up in cosplay and to dance your little fins off, but that doesn't mean there aren't people out there who have nefarious thoughts, and they are not good people. So just be careful. It can be a great experience as long as you're vigilant. Don't get so intoxicated that it can be a danger to you or whoever you're with. It's not worth it. Cosplaying is a fun experience. Don't let it be a bad experience. So just be careful. Make sure you always have, some kind of pepper spray on you or something, just in case. It's always good. You may be in cosplay, but more than likely you have something you can, clip like a pepper spray onto, or, sometimes people carry like little incognito tasers or something. So just be careful. go and have fun cosplaying. It's pretty affordable. I mean, most Halloween parties you can get into for like $15 or something, and it's a great time to dance all night. I personally love going to Halloween parties as just an excuse to dress up and dance, because I love dancing. I will tell this all the time, because we'll talk about raves too in the future, because raves is another thing to go to, but raves are usually like, we're thinking of like con raves, so we'll get to that later. But yes, dancing. I love dancing. It'll be brought up several times. So, okay, we've talked about that. We've talked a little bit about safety. Now we're going on to meetups. Meetups is another great way to go and cosplay. It's a great way to meet people so you can cosplay with new people. It's a great way to make new friends. You know, it's a good start. Meetups are pretty affordable, or sometimes you're usually hardly spending any money. Usually the most is you might go to like a comic book cafe, or a like an old retro gamer comic book bar, which I've gone to one of those and they're really cool. Or you might go to a park for a meetup, or, you know, some kind of like business that's hosting meetups or something like that. So meetups are good. All you really have to do is worry about your transportation and gas. So again, wherever you're going, if you can pitch in for gas, or your friends can pitch in for gas, it's a great thing to do. Please, anytime you're going to a meetup, make sure it is in public. Do not go to any place that is not a public place. It is not safe. So parks are good, and like local businesses and places with other people around. There might even be a meetup in a mall too. So you might get like two birds with one stone. Even though it's not the nicest saying. I'm not really a fan, but, you know, you might get there. So, meetups, yes. Good place, good public. It's very low money range. It's a good way to start, meet new people. It's always good to go with friends. You obviously can go by yourself, but if you're going by yourself, make sure that somebody knows where you're going. Make sure they know what time you're going, what time you're getting off. Make sure you check in with somebody and have them check in with you, so they know you're safe and you know you're safe. And make sure they have the address where you're going and the location and everything like that. And a description, just in case. You want to be very careful. Meetups are great, but you always want to be safe. It's better safe than sorry, always. So it's a good way to start, is meetups. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it about meetups. Again, safety, bring your friends. It's a good place to cosplay if it's like a LARP group or something like that. And it's a good way to meet new people. Just make sure you can afford a ride, or you have a ride, or you can drive and your friends can pitch in, or you have friends with you, or somebody knows where you're going. And make sure you keep your phone on you at all times. And then, yeah, along with meetups is like parks. You can, if you're making your own group, or you're having your group of friends, or yeah, you're meeting people, you're meeting up a group. So yes, parks are a great place to cosplay. Very low cost. You can run around and just be goofy, or LARP, or do whatever. Really, you can host any kind of group in a park, and it's a public place. And it's just a nice, pretty environment. Usually parks are gorgeous, so it's a great place to cosplay. Very affordable, very nice. We're hitting the 24-minute mark, so I don't want to make this video too long, but of course I want to give you guys a general idea of, again, where you can afford to attend to go to. So we're working our way up to the big cons. That's the ultimate goal for a beginner or any cosplayer, is to eventually, get to a big con. I think that's a lot of cosplayers' goal, is to go to a big con where there are just everybody is like you, and it is such an amazing environment. So we're going to now like strip malls or plazas or small towns with shops. Like I live in Oregon, so we have a lot of like small towns, but then there are like bigger towns. There's a town close to me called Ashland, and this place has a lot of small shops. Another great place to go to cosplay are these small places. You can go with your friends or just one friend and cosplay and walk around and shop or window shop. And again, nobody's really concerned about you. Some people might actually stop you and think you look amazing. So you never know. You could get some really good compliments in these small towns where they have shopping plazas. It's like you could find like fun candy shops or like, small places to eat, like local places. You might get pizza or whatnot. Again, these small places are fun to cosplay because what would your character be doing in this small little town, walking down the street on the sidewalk, walking on the sidewalk with another character or their friend or something like that? What would they be thinking? Why would they be in this place? Those are things to ponder and, to use your imagination and your creativity to enjoy these areas. Again, pretty affordable to go to. Usually these places are not too far away. It might be a half an hour away or more or less. Usually you're going to a town like this, it might be like, let's see, the furthest one away is like an hour and a half. So it's not too bad. Again, if you have a car, ask for your friends to, pitch in. $5 for a small, like, for a, there and back for something very close by, and then maybe jump up to $10 for the ride if you're going out further, so it just helps you. It doesn't hurt your budget, and you have enough money to, enjoy where you're going still, so you don't have to worry about spending all your money on gas, because it can be a lot of gas sometimes, depending on how far you're going out. So, yes, it is a good place to start. If you have to have parents, your parents can take you there, and if you're underage, yes, your parents can go with you, and they can go shopping in other shops, or they can go along with you, and you guys can kind of, like, walk up ahead a little bit, and they can still keep an eye on you, and you can go to these local shops and have fun and look around and still feel independent. But your parents obviously would be, like, staying back a little bit, so you have time to enjoy yourself with your friends. So, yeah, that's a good place to start. Just, again, be vigilant. You're out in public, so just always keep some kind of safety item with you just to be careful, whether you're with your parents or not. You just want to be careful. Always look before you cross. And don't walk in the street, obviously, unless it's like a crosswalk, and just be careful for cars. But usually these little towns, there's not very much traffic because there's a lot of foot traffic because they're really pretty places. I know I used to live in Florida, so we had a couple places in Orlando, and then there were like, they had like downtown like Disneyland or something. They had like a Disney associated, it was like Disney's little like shopping place. It was like a plaza for shops and restaurants that were Disney, and it was a great place to go. So that's a great idea for cosplaying. It's somewhere local. So there are lots of places you can go to where you can, just get the feel of cosplaying in public. And usually these foot traffic places they usually, I guess it depends on the day you go. So, like, there's usually not a whole lot of people wandering around. So you don't have to really worry about people. And honestly, nobody's worried about what you're doing because they know you're having fun, and most people are just concerned with their own lives. Unfortunately, that seems to be the case, excuse me, but, you know, a lot of people are like that nowadays. So, unfortunately, if only the world could be a little brighter. Praying for that, that's for sure. So, yep, we've talked about that. Now, we're going on to the 30-minute mark, so I am hitting those last 3 final, pretty much big, like, well, the final 2, but the last one and then the big 2, which is the small cons, the big cons. So, last small one, comic book shops or game shops. Yep, okay, I have that written in there. So, yes, comic book shops and game shops. And don't worry about the other stuff, because that is for later. So, comic book shops. This is what we're talking about right now. Comic book shops and game shops. Again, very affordable to get to. Ask for money, or if you have to get rides. Easy, simple. Comic book shops and game shops are a great place to cosplay and a great place to, you know, go and have fun while you're in cosplay, because you are in an environment, excuse my derpiness, you're in an environment filled with nerds of all kinds, and we love nerds, because we are nerds. So, comic book shops and game shops are a great place to cosplay. If you're picking up a comic book, or you want to get some magic cards or something like that, you can just go in cosplay. Say, I have to pick up these comic books anyway, so I figure I might as well just do it in cosplay. So, comic book shops are a great place. It's a good start. All around, good environment. So, these places are great, affordable, you can go with friends, very safe. It's a good, safe environment, and again, make sure somebody always knows where you're going, and just have fun. Point is to have fun. It's a good, safe environment for all the nerdiness. Okay, so, basically, same rules apply as the rest of them. Comic book shops kind of fit in with those. So, our last big 2. So, we've got our small local cons, and then our big cons. So, again, small cons, big cons. It's all about planning. Again, planning. We're just doing our research. So, you might want to start off going to a small local con. Let's say your local con is a half an hour away, or an hour away, or an hour away. For me, I've got a small local con. Here we go. Annie Medford 2019. It's a very small, just starting to get going con in Medford, because our big cons are in Portland, so that's like a 5-hour drive sometimes, or even a 4-hour drive, but that's a lot of driving. So, small local con. I've got one coming up August 17th. The plan is to attend this con and, do some filming for you guys, get some more content, do some more exciting stuff. So, you're looking into the small local cons. You might want to go to this small con you see here. So, or whatever small con you see. Sometimes you have to, look it up. So, here we go. I just typed in local cons, and it says upcoming cons, comic cons, anime conventions, gaming, science fiction. So, if you look up comic book conventions, cons, anime cons, Wizarding World cons, anything like that, internet is going to help you. The internet is a great is a great place for your research, obviously, especially for cons. So, yep, you can just find it there on this page. Of course, if you have, your location set up with Google, it'll usually pull up stuff. So, this small con is here at the, a Ramada. So, yeah, small cons. If you're driving your own car, ask everybody to pitch in money for the drive, and then make sure you have enough time to get there and enjoy your time. Just don't rush. Make sure you have plenty of sleep the night before, and try not to con crunch so that your experience is as amazing as it can be. The more sleep, the better. If you are exhausted, you aren't going to enjoy your con very much. So, again, we're mainly talking about, this is about transportation. So, it's pretty easy, and it's also about, it's about transportation and also like, okay, can I afford this? So, basically, small cons are really good on your budget because the tickets are usually anywhere between like $5 and like $25. So you're going to find a very affordable con. It may be a little smaller, but it is good, comfortable, safe atmosphere for you to cosplay and be nerdy and enjoy yourself. So it's a good start. Again, if you have to get a ride, local cons are usually, maybe up to an hour and a half away, usually max your small local con. Then sometimes as you get further out, you get into the bigger cons. So let's say like the 2 hours away is the max small con you want to go to, but usually they're going to be a little closer than that. I guess it depends on where you're living. Obviously, if you're living in a more like rural or area where there isn't a lot, like if you're out in the country or the woods or whatever, it might be a little further to a con. So plan for it. Make sure everything is good and you're good and you're all set up for it. So small local cons, really affordable, very easy on the budget. The ticket is affordable. Usually they're pretty close, so you won't have to spend too much money. And then just make sure, usually local cons might be 1 day or 2 days. So usually they're on Saturday or Saturday and Sunday. So in Medford, Annie Medford is 1 day on Saturday. But there's another small con, but slightly bigger than that, called Medford Comic Con, which is now a 2-day con. So they seem to be working on becoming, a larger con in the future. It seems like their goal is, but right now they're just, in a library, so they can't really do anything too big. I'm sure eventually if they got big enough, they would move to a larger location in Medford. I don't really know. But, yep, small cons, 1 or 2 days. If you have school on the weekend, it's great because Saturday you can take the day to, enjoy the con. And then Sunday you can, take a break. If you have any extra homework or any studying to do, you can get that done on Sunday. So it's a good way to start if you don't have a lot of time and you can't always go to the con. So weekend, Saturday, it's just 1 day, or even if it's a 2-day, it's on the weekend, so you want to make sure all your homework is done, or if you have work, make sure all your work is done, or you're making sure you have off on that weekend. So just make sure everything is set up, you have your plan set up, all good. You want to use like a calendar or a planner book, and just make sure you have those dates marked off, saved in advance, and request them off months in advance so you don't have to worry about that. And always remind your boss or your parents that you have a con you're going to, a couple weeks before, just in case. You just want to make sure your plans are all set and everything is good and dandy. So, yep, small local cons, it's a good place to start. Big cons is like a whole nother story. When it comes to big cons, and then as far as small cons go though, again, the same rules apply. It is a safe environment and there are lots of nerds and almost everybody is dressed up. There are very few people who don't dress up. So you are encouraged to cosplay. If you want to go to a small con and not cosplay, then you can kind of scope out the territory and get an idea of what you want to do. So it's a good place to people watch and, get a feel of cosplay. But you can also go and cosplay because everybody else is cosplaying. So it's a very good environment. There's food there. There's shopping. Yeah, they have little like shopping centers, and they might have a couple people signing and stuff like that. They might have a few panels and stuff, just stuff. And we'll talk more about that kind of stuff later. But small cons are a great place to get started, and it's very easy on the budget. It's very easy. You might only spend $25 on your ticket and your ride. So it's a great place. Then any extra money you have can go towards food and go towards, if you want to buy like any merchandise. So it's a good way to start. But yes, the big cons. The big cons is just you want to have a solid plan. I am all about plan A, B, and C, and D, and E, and F, and G. Anything to make sure you have to have backup plans with big cons, because big cons are usually you're going, like I said, Portland, 5 hours away. You can't just, drop everything and run back home if it's a 5 hour away con or a flight away con, because sometimes you might fly to another state to go to a con. So make sure you plan, guys. Just please be careful and make sure you plan and have backup plans just in case. Make sure you are budgeting enough so that you can afford the con. And we're going to get more into that in another video coming up. We'll talk about the budgeting and everything. But this is basically big cons. We're talking about like, okay, can you afford to go here? Is this going to be something you want to plan for? So let's say you've gone to one small con and you want to go to your first big con, and you are just a beginning cosplayer and you want to see if this is something you can do. So again, you go on these sites, you look up your local cons, or if you're looking for a specific con, you can type it up. So like here, you see the big major cons like San Diego Comic-Con, Dragon Con, Otakon, New York Comic-Con, Wizard Entertainment, SakuraCon, Fanime-Con, Gen Con. Those are the big boys. Those are the big cons that can hurt you or really like be an amazing experience. But if you don't budget properly, they can hurt you. I can tell you from experience, I have gone to a con where my friend lost her money and I had to eat all of the cost, and it set me in a deep hole of money that I now owe because I didn't have enough money to pay for everything. So it can hurt you if you're not smart about it. So, again, we're going to talk about that later. So, yes, big cons. Can you afford it? Is this something you want to do? Is this someplace you want to cosplay? Of course, this is something we all want to do in the future. But again, it's a big con. So the tickets can be very expensive. They can go from like $25, $35, $45, $55, $65, $100, $200, $300, depending on if you're trying to go into VIP passes. That's where it goes from $400 or like in the 100 ranges are usually the VIP passes. So, and then you have to think about transportation. So if you are bringing your car or you have to get a ride, make sure you have enough money. So if you're going, like, let's say Portland, 5 hours away, make sure you have the money budgeted away to make it there and make it back in one piece and with a little bit of extra just in case. You never know what's going to happen. So make sure you have enough money budgeted away so that way you have no problems. And make sure you have your ride is all set. Oh no. It looks like we're going to have to relocate because I am running out of battery. So, time to come inside for the end of the video. We're almost done. So, I'm just giving you guys that end kind of information about these big cons. So, yes, these large cons, they can run you a lot of money. And again, you want probably if you're going somewhere, you want to obviously budget money for the ticket and the ride. Whether you're taking a plane or you're driving a car or you're getting a ride, you want to help pitch in if you're getting a ride, obviously. When you're going with friends and you're going to a big con somewhere out of your comfort zone, you want everybody to pitch in. So make sure, if you are planning to go to a big con, make sure everybody is on the same page and everybody is budgeting and everybody is pitching in their part. So the more people, the better, but at the same time, you don't want too many people that it is too much. So probably, you know, anywhere from like 2 to like 4, maybe max, I would say 6 people is starting to, you know, get a little riskier, because you might have to get like an Airbnb or like a home away or a hotel room, and you don't want to spend too much money. So having more friends with you is good, but having too many friends in a small room or place, or you might rent a house. So a bunch of people in a small place may be good, may be bad. It all depends. You just have to make sure you plan right and make sure to get as much sleep as you can. Although I know it's hard to get sleep when you're going to cons, because you usually don't want to sleep. There's so many things to do, so many things. That's why you definitely want to plan for that. So basically, big cons, can you afford it? Maybe, maybe not. It's something you plan for. If you have a big con you want to go to, usually plan like a year in advance if you can. Like as much time as you can plan beforehand, because you want to make sure you have enough money budgeted and saved up for this big con, and it is a solid plan, and you have all your friends on board and everything is set up. If you ever have to go to a small or big con by yourself, make sure you are very careful and very safe. Get plenty of sleep. Be very vigilant. Just take your time. If you have to stop over on like in a rest stop and take a nap, do so. Don't work too hard. Don't push yourself too much. Just make sure you are safe. So, yes, let's see. I'm trying to think of anything else that might be crucial when we're talking about, like, can I afford it? So, we were talking about basically, yes, hotel rooms and stuff. So, again, going with a group helps your budget. It's a very good place to start. Say hi to Voss Kitty. She's saying hi. The kitty's coming up. So, yep. Make sure that you have everything budgeted out. Plan really well. Scope out your location. You usually want to, you know, get a hotel or rent a home that is pretty close to the con. Because if you want to, you can save money by, you know, taking a bus or taking a train or, I mean, even a subway or something. Anything you can do to, you know, help your budget and not put too many miles on your car, because going to large cons takes a lot out of your car. So make sure before you even plan to go to this con, make sure your car is all set. Make sure you've had a tune-up. Make sure your transmission fluid is good. Make sure your oil is good. Check your tires. Rotate your tires if you have to. Make sure you have like enough, like everything is, just make sure your car is in great condition. Always you want to go to a mechanic and just get a check over or a tune-up just to make sure your car is all ready. And then again, we'll talk about budgeting. Make sure you have budgeted just in case that you have money set aside in like your savings account or a credit card or something set aside just in case while you're on this trip, if anything happens to your car, so you can afford to fix it. So make sure if you're going out somewhere that requires you to take your car, make sure you have budgeted, so that way if you are stuck out there for a while, that you can get it fixed and you can get back home. So just be careful. That's why it's great to go with a group, because it's a lot safer. So again, be safe. Be safe when you're driving. I would recommend, if you're going to a big con, leaving the day before and leaving the day after the con starts. So if it's a 3-day con, make it a 5-day trip. This is a vacation. This is basically a mini vacation. A big con is usually 3 days. It's like a mini vacation. So plan. View it as a vacation. Leave the day before, leave the day after. I've learned this from experience. If you leave the day of the last con, the last con day, basically, and you are tired, it can be very dangerous because you don't want to be driving when you're drowsy. So usually leave the day after and leave the day before, because the day before, then you have that day, you can, get an idea of your surroundings. If you leave early enough, you can go out for dinner, you can hang out with your friends in cosplay, you can go pick up your ticket early, and you can just enjoy your time, and then make sure to get home, get enough sleep, so that way the next day you're well rested and you're ready for the con. And then, yes, leave the day after so you are not drowsy. Again, I went with a friend. She fell asleep in the car while I was driving, and I was getting drowsy in the car. And again, that is so dangerous. You do not want to have your passengers fall asleep while you are driving. Make sure they are up so they can keep you up. Keep engaged. Eat snacks. Have music playing, or an audiobook, or horror stories, or just chat with your friends, whoever's going with you. Make sure you are engaged and you are awake while you're driving. Obviously, you still want to keep your eyes on the road. Don't get distracted. But just keep relaxed. Keep focused. Keep safe. Leave the day after. Make sure you are rested. We don't want anything to happen to you. You will enjoy your con so much better if you don't have to worry about rushing. Because rushing when you're going to a con can be an awful experience. So go to the con during the summer if you are underage and you have school. So go during like the summer. So you have time to, go and you don't have to worry about school. And you can't just go for like a weekend or something. Unless you're close to your big cons. If you are nearby your big con and you can afford to go one day, that's fine too, and you have school, that's okay. Then you just go one day, like on Saturday or Sunday. But make sure you have time to, be ready for school on the following Monday. But usually summer cons, then you can actually take the time to enjoy that. It's basically a mini vacation. So make sure you are saving and you're budgeting and you are ready and you're prepared. So a big con's going to cost you a lot more money. So just keep in mind that is your end goal of conning is going to big cons. So they're like vacations. Again, make sure you're budgeting. Make sure you are safe. You might want to, go to raves or go to any after parties or sleepovers. So again, if you're leaving the last day of the con, you might be really tired because maybe you went to the sleepover and you guys stayed up all night talking. So, again, it's better if you leave the day after so you get time to sleep in, get your stuff packed, and, take your time leaving. You can even go get breakfast or whatnot. So, take your time, relax. You don't want to be rushed. Rushing can ruin your con experience sometimes because then you get so stressed out, you get angry, you might fight with your friends. It's not fun. So we are getting a little high in time. I don't want this video to go too long. Looks like I'm running out of storage space. So yeah, we are going to talk more about cons in the future. So thank you. Alright, I got cut off as I was saying goodbye. Alright guys, I will talk to you guys again soon. I will teach you more about our plans. I hope I have helped keep you informed. We will talk more about big cons and whatnot as we talk about our budgeting and more of our plans. So we'll talk more about this stuff. Again, I did not really mention flights. I have not taken a flight to a big con But again, that's something you want to budget for. So we'll bring that subject up more in the budget section, and we'll talk more about like if you wanted to budget in a flight, which again, it's a mini vacation, so that's something you have to budget. So thank you, fishies, so much for watching, guys. I am enjoying this. I really love cosplay, and I love teaching people about cosplay and about stuff relating to art. It's something that I'm very passionate about, and I really love doing this and being here and getting the opportunity to, as a almost 25-year-old who's been cosplaying for like 8, almost 10 years, I can give people a lot of insight about what it's like to cosplay, the goods and the bads, which we'll talk about those too. So, yep, I've given you guys, excuse my derp, I've given you guys a basic idea of like where you start as far as cosplaying goes, like what you want to look into when you're researching to start cosplaying. So I hope this helped you guys. I hope you have learned a little bit. I hope this has helped inspire you to start cosplaying, because you don't have to go to cons to be a cosplayer. You don't have to do this and that to be a cosplayer. All you have to do is dress up and be fun. You can even do it at home. So, get started where you can. Don't spend too much money. Don't break your bank. Just be smart. Whatnot. We'll talk more later about everything about being cosplay smart and budgeting. So, alrighty. I think I've pretty much covered everything. Of course, I added extra in. So, thank you, fishies. Yes, thank you again and again. I'll just keep saying thank you. And it's 555 right now, guys. 555. That's actually a biblical number that I think 555 means travel. So that's a good sign. That means we're going to cons. Hello. So yes, it's 555. Yep. Pretty much that's the end of the video. So thank you. If you guys enjoyed this video, please slap that like button with your fins. If you want to hear more from me, because this is kind of a podcast, or you want to see more from me, please hit that subscribe button, because I can't speak right, and we all know it's hilarious because we want to laugh at me because I'm a dork. But yeah, hit that subscribe button. My social medias will be in the description, so you can see more from me. You can see my con experiences and check out my Instagram and see what cosplays I'm working on, because there will be more stuff that I will be posting. I have lots of cons I want to plan for and lots of cosplay I want to make, and plans for the future, stuff like that. So with all that said, tell me what you think. How do you feel about this podcast? Does this make you feel like you want to start cosplaying? I'd love to know more about your ideas and your thoughts about beginning cosplay. So comment that below. If you listen to this entire show, please, I want you guppies to comment guppy power. Guppy power. Power to the guppies. The new guppies that are getting started in cosplaying. So, just, yep. Comment guppy power. And I will see you guys soon. I can't speak. I'm sorry. I've been speaking for like almost an hour. So, I think that's a sign for me to sign off. So again, Jesus is behind that camera. I'm Danny. This is Bullsahrkbait Arts. And thank you guys so much for watching. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Just keep on swimming in the ocean. So, bye-bye.